Hello crafties, welcome to another video. My name is Infiniti and today I am back again with another knitting tutorial. This time I'm going to be showing you guys how to knit the 1x1 rib stitch. Super easy, super beginner friendly. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So much like crochet, the rib stitch creates this really stretchy, soft, pliable piece of fabric. As you can see, I'm stretching it every which way. It always bounces back, and it's very simple design to make. So for starters today, I am going to need some knitting needles, which I do have. I am using a size 10. They're also a 5.75 millimeter. Don't ask me why they're so specific. I don't know. So also going to use my yarn. And as you guys know, I like to use the long tail cast on. So I'm just going to create my slip knot. And I am going to cast on, maybe 15. I think 15. Maybe 16. We'll see. So there's 2. 3. If you don't know how to cast on and this is your very first time knitting, why don't you go ahead and go back to my how to knit tutorial back on my channel. I put all my knitting tutorials in a handy playlist so they're easy to find. There's 4. There's 5. There's 6. There's 7. There's 8. There's 9. 10. 11. And 12. 13. 14. 15. Now I'm going to go ahead and do 16. So people work the rib stitch fairly, differently. Some people do a row of just knitting after they cast on, and some people just dive right into the stitch. I personally like to do a row of knitting before I jump into that stitch, so I'm going to go ahead and just do a row of knit stitch. Just insert my hooks, needles. You can tell which craft I've been doing longer. I always call my needles hooks. And sometimes I call my hooks needles, but still. Gonna slide that back on there. And it's okay if you end up bunching up your stitches. We all do it. Now, if you're doing a project, make sure that you're following your pattern instructions. But since I'm just doing a tutorial today, I am only providing you guys with a swatch. So, I had to move my swatches off the wall and into a little tub because I have so many now. It's almost crazy. I can't believe I've done so many videos at this point. Which has been super, super fun. Alright, and I'm doing my last knit stitch. Okay, so moving on to row 3, what we're going to do is super easy. We are going to be knitting one and purling one, just alternating the knits and purls all along this row. So I always start off with a knit because to me they're easier. Okay, and then you're going to move your yarn to the front and do a purl. And then you're going to move your yarn back and do a knit. And we'll move it back to the front. And we are going to not do that. We're going to purl. And basically do this back and forth all the way across this row. And we're going to knit and take your time. Okay, I'm gonna purl. I'm gonna knit. And then we're gonna purl. Again, if you need help with the knitting basics, all those videos are listed in a handy playlist on my YouTube channel. So go ahead and check it out. Okay, that was a purl. Now we're gonna move this yarn back to the back and we're going to knit it. And I'm gonna go ahead and finish these last few stitches off camera, and I'll meet you guys back when I have completed my row. Alright, crafties, so if you did your knitting correctly, you should end up being on a purl for your last stitch, and that is correct. So I'm just gonna go ahead and purl. So if you did an even number of cast on, you are going to be starting on a knit stitch and ending on a purl stitch every row. So that's a good way to keep up with your stitches. So right now you can't really see what you've done, so it's going to take a couple rows of working this knitting and purling back and forth to truly see that ribbed effect like you saw in my swatch at the beginning of the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this row with a knit. Like I said, always start with the knit and with the purl. And I'm going to purl, and I'm just going to do what I did in the last row on this row, and I'll meet you guys back after I've done a few rows of knitting and purling. Okay, let's zoom in just a wee bit. I have some tips for you guys when it comes to working this 1x1 rib stitch. Now I've just started a new row and I'm being met with this little ridge here. This little ridge right here means that I'm going to be purling. And then anytime you see these little V's, that means you're going to be knitting. So I thought that that would be helpful in working these stitches. Now I just knitted, so because I started a new row, so I'm going to insert my needle in the front of this stitch right here and go ahead and purl. And I'm going to continue to work my stitches across this row. And then I'm gonna like knit, and I'll meet you guys back again, like I said, when I have a bigger swatch. Alright, crafties, so I have worked up a little bit more of my swatch, at least so you guys can see the pattern. So if you continue to alternate knitting and purling, you'll end up with an awesome piece of fabric like this. And it is reversible, so whatever side you decide to use for your finished project, it's going to look great regardless. So, if you enjoyed today's tutorial, go ahead, give me a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments below how I did, or just to say hi. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on the awesome weekly content that I post. Check out my other social media for ongoing projects and updates, as well as my coffee page, which also lists all my updates. And until next time, guys, happy making.